check to see that everything is working on the channel. Here we go. Please bear with us, everybody. Please bear with us. See, that is going live, but is it live? Says that it's waiting. This is always a fun game. Sometimes when we go live, it thinks that we're going live, and it's like, I see that you're live, but you're not live.
I'll let y'all know if I can see the
Oh,
live stream on my end.
it looks like it's up right now. Yep, here we go. It's up. It's up. I'll share the link with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Pardon me.
All right, let's mute our mics except for me and Dog, and we're gonna get started.
Yep. All right. See y'all in a bit.
All right, here we go. All right, welcome to the best talk series in Fallout 76, where we bring. Just heard a beep. Where we talk about, where we bring in guests from all over the wasteland, so you don't have to. This is the best there is with host D-Man Caramel, the best there is. Hey everyone, welcome to The Best There Is. I'm D-Man Caramel, the best there is. It's your number one show for all things that keep you surviving the wasteland. We got a great show for you coming up today. Today we have our special guest, Paladin Dog. Paladin Dog, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. Very happy to be here. It's good to see you. I've heard great things about your broadcast. The Hellfighters are avidly in the wasteland keeping up those terminals so you can get a broadcast to all the great people of the wasteland. Ab Infermo, ad Victorium.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your hard work. Now, for those of you who don't know who is Paladin Dog, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself? What is the role that you do in the VEF? What do you do overall?
What do I do overall? I am but a humble servant to you all in the VEF. I am the battalion commander of the Hellfire Battalion, the second oldest battalion in this beautiful vanguard. And I guess I keep the wasteland safe. I do the best I can for everybody around me. Currently new to the battalion commander role, but I feel very honored that I was given the task and trust to run such a esteemed battalion. A little bit about me. I hail from the Oklahoma wasteland of the 5 civilized tribes down there, Creek Nation. At the beginning of the Great War, when the nuclear bombs fell, I had but one option, and that was to go forward. And so that's what I chose to do.
I love it. Now, to my understanding, you are also the newfound head of Hellfire, correct? Can you tell me about like some of the upcoming changes that you wish to kind of implement within Hellfire?
You know, what a great question that is. I'd love to answer that. So, how much time do we have? is the question that should be asked. No, so I am like you said, I am the new battalion commander, and there are some great changes happening inside of the Hellfire Battalion. One of them, we have just started the Seraph Paraxis Infernum. We are one of the battalions that have adopted the motto or the mindset that a battalion shouldn't be ran just by knights. We want both sides of the aisle. So we actually have 2, which it can't be. There's been some argument about it, but I didn't see anywhere in the codex that it can't be this way. But we have a high scribe and a paladin acting as my second in commands, as we want to make sure that our battalion is delivering all it can for all of our members, not just the Night Corps or the Night Division. We want to make sure the Scribe Division gets their love too, because in our eyes, they are more than just the people that run around and gather stuff on patrols for us. They keep our T60 going. They keep us in data. They keep us in hymns, weapons, ammo, armor, you name it. They keep the Hellfighters going. Sorry.
No, keep going.
Some other things that we're changing in Hellfire is I'm trying to change the perception of the Hellfire Battalion. We've implemented the 3 C's. It's something that all of my officers are being educated on and becoming very familiar with. The 3 C's in our battalion is character, competence, and communication. In the Hellfire Battalion, we believe there is a difference between cockiness and confidence, which will tally into later part of this talk. But let's talk about character. We need to be the best versions of ourselves, not just for the battalion, but the people that we serve inside the VEF. Again, we are but humble servants to the VEF, and we want to make sure as the infantry wing of the VEF, no one has to worry about if there's ever going to be someone having their back, because the Hellfire Battalion will 100% be there. Uh, Competence. Every one of my officers and every one of my battalion members need to be able to do their job. And that job is to defend the wasteland. We have a joke inside the Hellfighter squads, especially Night Captain K-Man back here. The joke we like to make is if your battalion, if our battalion dies, your battalion has already been dead, as we're the last to die. We fight to the very end, to the every man. K-Man, Night Captain, as you see, there's a gentleman behind me. He's one of my security details. He likes to say one Hellfighter is worth 10 others. And I've seen him fight a Deathclaw with his bare hands, so I would have to agree with that. It's kind of how he lost his eye, I think. Actually, I think one of the other Hellfires had a negligent discharge and shot him in the eye, but we won't talk about that. That was taken care of. Then we talk about communication. We just want to be open with everybody, which actually will take us into the next part, I think, D-Man, if that's okay. Let's talk about communication.
But before we dive into that, because we're definitely going to talk about that coming up, I would really just kind of love to understand you as a person. And what I mean by that is that, from the outside looking in, Hellfire is kind of seen as these rough and gruff, tough people. But I want to know the man behind the mask, as they say, right? So let's talk a little bit about, and we'll get back, to Hellfire specifically, but let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us what is your backstory as it pertains to the VEF. We'd just love to know how you got, into the VEF.
Okay, so we got time. So I was on there was this pre-war technology years ago. I remember it used to be called Facebook. Before the bombs dropped, it was I think they called it social media. You could connect with people all over the world back before communism took over, which was so sad. And we were able to connect, and I met Barbie Pickles on this ancient technology platform, and she invited me to the group. I actually joined another Brotherhood of Steel group on my way from Oklahoma, trying to get to Appalachia to help with Elder Maxon's call. And it was actually brought to my attention that the SOD was not, in fact, who I thought they were. And so me and my soldiers, we fled. Unfortunately, and fortunately, the only time we've ever had to flee to get to the Vanguard Expeditionary Force in Appalachia, which is where we met the High Elder Batman, and we were absorbed into the ranks. Who is Dog as a man? Well, before the Great War, before the apocalypse, I was a prototest pilot in Oklahoma at Tinker Air Force Base for the T-45 long-range artillery suits, which we haven't been able to find any of those suits as they were very, very classified. But we see them in most of our Hell Tanks T-60s designs. But during the war, we got the call that bombs were hitting New York and Boston and California and the coast, and so most of our soldiers fled. I was one of them because I had a small child and wife at home. And I did find them. I find them, or rather the ashy husks of them, and they travel with me everywhere I go. But unfortunately, that could not be changed. So I did the only thing a good soldier could do. I went back to my post. I gathered my soldiers, and we started fixing a long-range comms array. And we found, once it was operational, that it was dead. There was no one. There was no one out there, and that's when we heard our savior, Maxon, from Mariposa Military Base, and he was telling us about the atrocities that the U.S. military and government were doing to POWs. And when I joined to protect American citizens in the world, is what I was fed. And that was not the case. FEV, which is very potent forced evolutionary virus was being conducted on Chinese POWs. And though they were red and though they were supposed to be dead, that was not right. And as a God-fearing man, or a religious man, if you will, I could not in right mind allow that to happen. So we salvaged as many of the T-45s as we could. I was able to gather a T-60 suit and get it operational with some high-impact servos and some nice lead lining we found. And we also decrypted something about a Project Pegasus, and we decided we would make our way north to Appalachia. We were told to meet with a Paladin Taggarty. So roughly, I don't know, I want to say it took us about 3 or 4 months jumping from base to base, building our forces as we went. And we eventually arrived in Appalachia, but it was not all good when we arrived in Appalachia. Once we got around the Shenandoah area, coming up through West Virginia into the actual where we're at now, just about 20 clicks outside of the tech city, Watauga, we were hearing radio chatter of something about scorched, they're not human, flying beasts, and we radioed as much as we could, but something to do with interference. They mentioned some kind of material ultrasite, which was radiation or something. I'm not 100% sure what it is, still not. But we weren't able to get the word to Taggarty that reinforcements had arrived, and once we had crossed into the Cranberry Bog, a underground high yield atomic bomb went off, and it I'm sorry, this is a little tough for me, though I am a stoic fighter. The memories of my fallen comrades will haunt me for the rest of my life.
No worries, man. And speaking of which, quick interjections from the audience here. We have Damon Disco, who gives you a salute. We have Professor Rat, who says Ad Victoriam Paladin Dog. And then we have Geg007 says LFG, let's frickin' go. So you have a lot of supporters out there that appreciate you and everything that you do. And now it's changing the subject a little bit, still on the topic of you though. Speaking on, trying to get you on the show has been a little bit of a challenge. You're a busy man, right? In real life, you work a ton, you're traveling. You sound like you got a pretty active life. And I know off camera we kind of spoke about that you can't talk about everything, but from what you can tell, what is Paladin Dog, the man in real life?
I'm a father and a husband. I used to be not a father and not a husband. I liked fast cars. I liked nice homes, watches, all that timepieces, everything. But about 16 months ago, that all changed when my son was born. We call him Squire Dog Junior, and he's my world. In fact, my entire family has always kind of known me as the uncle that's loud and shows up for Christmas, drops off $100 bills and gift cards, and then we go on a cruise. But now I live for my son. A wise man told me that my life ended the day he was born, and he followed it up with, because it's no longer your life. All you are is a memory for your son and your son's sons. And so that's who Dog is as a man. I have a servant mentality, and I want to help people around me, and my focus is my son and my wife. That's really all that matters to me right now.
Bro, I absolutely love that. Especially just thinking about, I think the number one thing that we need in the world right now is empathy. And I feel like if we're thinking on what we're actually passing down to the ones that come after us, like that changes the perspectives of, especially over here in America. I know we're thinking all the time just by, about ourselves, but I think if we actually started thinking like that, it would definitely change perceptions for sure.
It's really neat you say that. I don't typically like to get into politics, but I am. A lot of people said it was the R word. I'm a Republican. I know, scary.
Well, but, it was lovely having you on our show today. We'll catch you.
No, I get it. But I'm an Oklahoma Republican that's American Indian. So my wife and I are very centered on everything. Being First Nations indigenous, The joke that's always made is everybody in America is living on stolen land, and there is
Hmm.
truth to that. But I was always raised not to focus on that. I was always raised to care about the people around you, take care of the people. And I know a lot of people would say people on the right don't agree with that, but there are still people that think that way. And myself, I'm more down the middle on the things in that I don't care what you do. I don't care who you marry. I don't care what you smoke. I just care that you're not in my business. And I think if I can do anything to help people, I always will, because that's what Americans should do. We are the best at what we do, and I think right now we see a lot of negative, and that is our reality because perception is reality, right? So what you see, that's what you're going to believe, and I don't think it's I don't think it's true. I can certainly tell you this: the people of the Vanguard Expeditionary Force are incredible in the fact that we all come from different walks of life, but we have found something common to unite us, and that is a group that cares about everybody in our group. I'll do anything for everybody, and I've always taken some self-realization. There have been high council members, high command, other battalion commanders, paladins, knights that I haven't agreed with, but I think the neat thing of this is I care about them enough to take a step back and say, wait, am I the bad guy? And there's been a couple instances where I was like, yeah, I probably should have handled that different. So, to anybody who's ever had a bad interaction with me, I sincerely apologize. And I hope you know that I care about each of you more than you would know. There's a quote I actually really like. People don't care to know until they know how much you care. And I hope everybody in the Vanguard knows Paladin Dog cares about you immensely.
Now, it looks like we just had another message from Kristen Strine, who said, "Ad Victorium, brother."
Ad
Um,
Victorium to you.
but let's bring out some of the hot questions right now. Okay, I kind of want
Oh,
to get
okay.
into the nitty gritty of this. Take the gloves off for this. But there is this perception, from my experience talking with people in the VEF, there's this perception that Hellfire kind of seems like they feel mightier than everyone else, right? Like you guys just kind of walk around with your noses in the air, thinking that you're above everyone else. And I think the quote that you said that you even heard was "strict assholes." Now,
Yes.
is this true?
Yeah.
Is like I want to give you basically just a chance to clear the air.
Well,
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
so there's always a shred of truth to everything that's out there, I believe. And are we assholes? Yes, we are assholes, but not in the way that you would think. Anyone can perceive us as assholes, and it's easy to, and here's why. Our battalion has always been extremely heavy RP, and our battalion has always been extremely milsim-like in the fact that all of our stuff, all of our patrols are militaristic, RP, and all of our guys wear the same thing. As you can see, I have a Hellfighter behind me. That's the Hellfighter uniform. So light armed combatants wear Brotherhood of Steel Recon with our red tops. And our Hell engines wear T60 power armor. That's just how it's always been. And that's something that Hellfire was really the first to adopt in our battalions. And that was led by Sentinel Merc, who was a phenomenal battalion commander for us and really helped us reignite our fire. But so that perception of Hellfire being ultra strict, yeah, we are to a sense, but I don't think we have done a good enough job communicating with the other battalions on what our expectations are for our patrols. And so I've asked a couple initiates and I've asked a couple knights, what do you think you're supposed to wear on a Hellfire battalion? What do you think you're supposed to wear on a Hellfire battalion patrol? And they all say the same thing, a Hellfire colors. And they say it like that. Oh, Hellfire colors. And that's the furthest from the truth. That's wrong. So if anyone from other battalions are listening to this, that's wrong. And I'm going to set it straight right now. You haven't earned the right to wear Hellfire colors. And I haven't earned the right to wear your colors. So when you show up on a Hellfire patrol, all I ask is that member show the respect to the battalion that they are from and represent them well. Show up in your battalion's colors, because God dang it, by Maxon, that's what you've earned. That is what your battalion commanders expect of you. And though I am the Hellfire Battalion Commander, I am a Paladin of the Vanguard Expeditionary Force, and I will be Maxon damned if anyone disrespects her expectations. And so we can definitely be perceived as assholes because we expect our people to show up and be professionals. And with that, it goes back to those 3 C's we have: character. We believe in doing things 100%, right? So if you're going to be in character, but don't be edgy. Don't go crazy,
Yeah,
be normal.
don't be a D-man caramel in the field.
Yeah,
That's
don't be a
bad
D-man
luck.
caramel. I mean, who wears a pirate hat with a Halloween suit? Like,
Hey, it's a
God,
Halloween special.
I know. It's very spooky. That outfit is so scary. Anyways, and then we can talk about, competence. We expect you, if we ask you to lead a line, we expect you to control your line. And if you don't, we'll say something, because that's the battalion patrols we run. And then last is communication. If we ask you to do something, it's not because we think you're doing it wrong. It's just we would ask that you respect what we're doing, as I have instructed all of our battalion members to respect your battalion and what you do. And I think that's important, that communication. I think it's important that people know Hellfire as a battalion are not going to say, you need to leave because you're wearing the wrong thing. That's not what we're saying. We don't expect you to wear Hellfire colors to everything. We expect you to wear your colors. But I do know that Legion, Cerberus, Immortalis, and Drachnum all have things they expect people to wear. And I am so incredibly proud when I see Cerberus pull up, because they're wearing their colors proudly. That damn Blue Devil hat they wear is earned. And if you don't know the story on how you earn it, one day, if you're hopeful, maybe you'll get the honor to go fight for that cow. And when you do, you'll realize how important it is. And then you'll realize why Hellfire is so proud of what we do, because of other battalions and how proud they are of what they do. And yeah, assholes, we expect things to be done a certain way, RP, all that. And if you don't want to do that, then we might not be the battalion for you. And that's completely fine. There are 4 other battalions that are phenomenal at what they do. So we are approachable. If you ever need anything, or if you ever just want to hang out, please, Hellfire is great. And I see the light coming on. I'll end it with this. We also have great social events. K-Man, Crazy, Hugh, they all run the funniest patrols. But I think that perception of Hellfire being ultra stick has really stopped them from taking off. So I would encourage everybody out there, please support Hellfire and what we do, as we will always support you.
Now, can we talk a little bit about the definition of what does it mean to heavy RP and the military simulator? Like, what exactly does, well, I guess that's two
okay.
questions. One, exactly, what does that mean for Hellfire and as a whole? And two, typically after long days of work, I know I like to come home, hop on my game system, just relax. It's a way for me to just kind of like escape, unwind, hang out with friends. What does that mean for you when you come on game and you task yourself with the assignment of creating a heavy RP and military simulator world?
Oh, okay. So now that I'm a battalion commander, I've really, really tried to put a lot of time into the battalion, and because it deserves that. It's not just my battalion. It's all 31 members. It's their battalion as well. It's Sentinel Merc's battalion. It's High Scribe or Head Scribe Blood Queen's battalion. If you guys don't know, a lot of our High Council were Hellfire at one time. It's Tyrants, it's Twerks, it's K-Mans, it's Caps, it's Crazies, it's Deathstorms, it's Qs, it's Turtles. It's all of my members. It's their battalion too. And so when I go to it, I go with the focus of, if I don't have enough time to run a patrol, I'm not going to do it, because that's half-assing it. That's that competence level we talk about. And so when I sculpt an RP, we actually have terms we use in Hellfire because we want it to be heavy RP. But I think people should know that it will be designated heavy RP in the patrol. We'll say it right before you come. You'll see it on the events tab. If it's not, show up and have fun. We're going to have fun. K-Man makes the funniest jokes when he talks. He talks once a year, and it's always a good joke. Crazy, she's hilarious. Night Captain Crazy is the demon princess of Hellfire, and she will always crack some kind of joke if she's not in character. It's great. Q and K-Man, if they say something they don't like to each other, the patrol will probably stop for 5 minutes because they're going to fist fight each other. They always do. And Tyrant, man, he is my brother from Hawaii. I think that's where he's from. We always like to make joke that he's Tongan. He's not. Don't ever say that to him. My jaw still hurts from that.
Oh,
But
jeez.
Twerk, all these guys don't have all the time in the world to jump onto a game and not get what they want out of it. And so when I craft RP, I go into it with that mindset. So like some of the terms we use on patrol, everybody should be able to relate because when someone blue screens, they start screaming, "Oh, I blue screened, I black screened, I'm." In Hellfire, we don't say that. We say we're having comms issues, and that's code that you've blue screened. That keeps it RP. I'm having comms issues. I'm having comms issues. When someone says fast travel, we don't say fast travel. We say we'll vertibird insert. That means we're going to vertibird across Appalachia into our area of operations. And then when we fast travel away, when we say let's meet at Fort Atlas, we'll say exfil to Fort Atlas, right? Because we're leaving the area of operations. And then the real world of it. So Hellfire, the Hell engines wear T60 power armor. They're not allowed to go in buildings on Hellfire patrols, especially heavy RP, because you think about it, a T60 power armor in real life is like 5 tons. And so it wouldn't make sense for it to go into a building with a 50 cal in 25-year-old rotten wood and be able to clear a room. That's where our Hellfighters come in. They are our CQC, or close quarter combatants. They get in there and they fight it out with close quarter weapons, shotguns, SBRs, swords, knives. I mean, that's why they're the Hellfighters. While our Hell engines are designed through doctrine to lay large amounts of fire across the battlefield, while our Hellfighters get into position to make more precise precision strikes. Now, when it comes to the fun social events, dude, show up, have fun. You can wear your clown costume. We had a Wavy Willard event, and I wore a bikini. Like, come on, that's funny. Haha, we all here to have fun. But I think as a battalion commander, we always need to make sure you communicate your expectations of what people can expect when they come to your patrols, and that's with all of my officers in Hellfire. Clear cut expectations, and don't be upset if you didn't communicate it.
Now, changing the subject onto Hellfire, or back, I guess, to Hellfire, I want to start talking a little bit about the Hellfighters. But before addressing that, I really want to discuss, with you now being the head of the battalion, like what new changes do you see coming in the future for Hellfire? Like, do you see anything different happening for Hellfire in 6 months from now? Any other changes that you have planned?
Changes is expected in the battalion. It's good for us. If you're not changing, you're dying. And I've noticed since taking over the battalion, there have been a lot of inactive members. Not inactive on the game, but inactive inside of our battalion. And so I've talked, I, I don't know how to say this the nice way.
There is no nice way to say it. You're not known for being nice, so just say it.
Some people that are with you aren't with you. And
Mm.
so I foresee changes happening, which is why we're avidly recruiting. We want to get the people that want to be there for us. And, I know there is a large recruitment push right now. We need all these people, and that's great. We're going to recruit, but I can do this with 10 people or I can do this with 100 people. But I will have the best 10 people or I will have the best 100 people that want to be a part of it. And those are the changes I can see coming. You're either going to be here or you're not. You're either going to communicate or you're not. You're either going to have character or you won't. And you're going to be competent or you won't. You can go do all of those things or you cannot go do those things. But if you choose not to do those things, you'll do those things somewhere else.
Yeah, you heard it here, guys. So I also want to start talking a little bit about your experience with the Elders Guardsmen.
Oh,
But
I'm
before
sorry. Let me stop you. Let's just use guard because as of today, we have welcomed our first female guardswoman into the Elders Guard.
oh, congratulations! Can you make a call out for who is the new
I
Elder?
would I would love to, but that's classified.
Okay, going back to what we were saying before. Before talking about guards person, people. Can you tell us about the Hellfighters? Like in
Yeah.
maybe in like if you had to summarize in 30 seconds or less, what is the Hellfighters? Or who are the
Wow.
Hellfighters?
The Hellfighters are the meanest sons of bitches in Appalachia. They exist to do one thing. They exist to stand up for people. It's a cold world out there, and it's a mean world. But it gets a little bit warmer when the Hellfighters in the area. It's a little bit hotter as well because people will know by the sweat of their brow that the demons have arrived and they're there to protect. So in Hellfire, we have a small religion. Some worship it, some don't, and that's completely fine. But I want to read you a scripture from the Hellfighters Book of Taggarty, chapter 1, verse 3. Behold, the Hellfighters move not with haste, but with defined precision. They are the strength behind the spear and the guiding hand that delivers its righteous blow. In the heat of battle, they walk in the shadows of the hell engines, blessed shields of iron ordained by the will of steel. By their sacred charge, they strike with unwavering accuracy, and under the engine's holy armor, they advanced with faith, knowing that every strike is guided by purpose, every step leads to victory. Praise be his name, Maxon, Book of Taggarty, chapter 1, verse 3, Scriptures of Steel.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. What does that mean to you, that scripture?
Well, it means that we will fight until there is no more fire in our veins. There is nothing that puts fear in our heart. And there, pre-war, there was the Christianity religion. And I always like to think of Noah and the ark. A hellfighter will fight like they're the third monkey trying to get on the boat, and it just started raining.
Hmm. Damn. Okay.
Hopefully that answers that.
That definitely answers that question for me. They are the bad motherfuckers in the world. In short. So let's change the topic a little bit. Let's talk about being an Elder's Guard person. Can you define to people out there who might not know what does it mean to be a guard person for the elders?
Well, you don't have to say person. We're Elder's Guard. No need to throw person on there, but that is okay. Elder's Guard, what are we? Well, we serve to protect the elders. We are the elite PvE group inside of the Vanguard, started by the esteemed Elder Pilatov. We host events. One of the big events that we do every Wednesday night, we hold an event called the Initiate Sacrifice. And that is been going on for about 2 weeks. It's reoccurring. It's always the same patrol. And that's when an Elder Guards will run the patrol, and it is for the initiates to knock out a knight or scribe task. We're growing, and I think there is a need for a patrol like that. You know, every squad right now, as we grow, should be asking themselves, what purpose do we serve for the members of the VEF? That's a conversation I had with Inquisitor Crower, our XO, I think is what he's called. It's rare. It's hard to get on his schedule, even as a battalion commander. Shout out to Crower. With that, he asked me, what purpose does the Elder Guard serve? And I got offended. And I remember I said, well, it is a cool title, but you're right. I don't know what it serves. And as the captain of the guard, I should. So that's when I really stepped back the past couple of weeks and said, hey, we're a league now. What are we going to do? We don't let people join, but we're supposed to do something. What is that? And then I realized how many times I hear initiates ask, have you done your task? I said, well, no, I don't know what patrol to do. Well, guess what, initiates? There's one every Wednesday ran by the Elder's Guard, and you can do a task. It'll make your instructors happier, and you'll move up in your path quicker. And so right now, I think that's what purpose the Elder's Guard needs to serve. Across from being the elite PvE version of the Guardians, We also work hand in hand with other RP groups. We're working with a couple who are remnants of the U.S. Army. Shout out to G Star if you're watching this. And the elders are also like to have their own RP. Oh, I think the server just disconnected.
You are a ghost,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh no. Let me try to get back in. I'm so sorry.
No, no worries.
World world is full. Can you have one of the audience members maybe leave so I can get in?
Yeah, let's pass that note down to the director.
Okay.
1 second. But yeah, while you're still here, we're still live. Everyone can still hear you. Why don't you just go
Okay,
ahead and keep
good.
talking?
So yeah, the Elders Guard is the joke we make is we're the most exclusive league that you can't get into. Uh, Sorry, General Streak. I know you've asked me a couple times, but that's the reality of it. But yes, we did welcome our first Elder Guardswoman today, and I will disclose her name. She worked her ass off. In fact, she sent me a letter about why she wanted to try the Elder's Guard or why she wanted to be considered. And it's actually the first time that I've actually said, "Hey, I really should look at this person." And so that's what I did. So Pinky, if you're on stream, I'm very proud of you. I know Cerberus is very proud of you. I know your commander is very proud of you, and we're very happy to have you in the Elder's Guard. Esto Arma Signorum. So that's kind of a little bit about the Elder's Guard. I hope that answers that question for you.
No, absolutely, man. And so with you being also the captain of the Elders Guard, like I know that you don't take submissions. You only
Okay,
recruit. That is something that you told me. But if
very
someone
proud of
wanted
that.
exactly, right? So it's very exclusive. It's hard. Like you don't get on unless you deserve it. So if someone wanted to catch the eye of the Elder's Guard, like what could someone do in order to do just that so they have a better chance of possibly being approached?
Honestly, be the best version of yourself. If you're gonna do something, do it 100% of the time. Don't come up short and don't sell yourself short. I think that's something that a lot of people do. They think they can't do something, and that stops them from trying. Just be the best version of yourself. Do the right thing when no one's looking. An elder guardsman, some people will say a lot of things about us, maybe non-serious, some serious, but an elder guardsman and how I view it is an extension of High Elder Batman and Elder Pilatov's arms. And how would they want to be viewed? If you're going to make a decision on behalf of the VEF, you should go into it with this mindset. Would Elder Batman or Elder Pilatov do this? Now, some people say, "Oh yeah, Elder Batman, he's goofy sometimes. He'd do that." But in serious situations, I can tell you right now, there isn't a more serious person. And same with Pilatov. Same with Elder Dirty. Of the few times I've met him, the Sentinels, the General. If you ever wonder if you should do something, think if they would do it. And if the answer is no, they wouldn't do it. Guess what? You answered your question.
Mm. And then, is there also like a way to specifically identify an Elder's Guard? Like, do you guys wear uniform, or is there a way to see who you guys are just by looking at you?
Yes, yes. So Elders Guard wear a set of power armor. We are the first league or group inside the VEF to officially adopt the T65 as our uniform. Now you will see T65 running around in the VEF, and at first I was telling people, please don't do that, right? Because no one was doing it before we did it. But it is also the best piece of gear, power armor wise, you can get in the game right now. So who am I to say you can't do that? That is someone else's immersion and their RP, and I'm ruining it.
Mm.
But what I do request is do not wear our paint schemes. We wear Brotherhood of Steel reclaimed paint on the chest, arms, and legs. And on our head, we wear clandestine black headpieces. That signifies what an Elder Guardsman looks like. And as for our weaponry, you'll usually only see us with one thing when we're not in the field, and that is a Zweihander, which is a V63 Zweihander. It's a very large sword. Can't miss it. It's good for cleaving death claws in half. In fact, I cleaved 3 with one swipe one time. It was an incredible thing. We ate steak for a week. It was a good time. And then in the field, we usually we usually use a flamer or the Gauss minigun because it has a very high cyclical rate and it's explosive. And who doesn't love that? So that's how you can identify an elder guardsman or woman or elder guard. How about that? See, even I'm getting used to it, right, D-Man?
See, now it's not as easy as it looks, is it? Um,
No, it's not. This is tough.
but yeah, man. I mean, it just seems like all the circles that you roll around in are just badasses. So say if I am a person in the VEF and I want to host my own patrol, is there a
Okay.
way that I can actually request for an elder guard to come onto my patrol? And if so, how do I do that?
Yeah, so I would encourage everybody in our RP when people ask us about us, we say it's classified, but it is public information. If you're ever wondering who an elder guardsman or woman is, all you have to do is open up the roster list. If you open up the roster list in Discord, you will see that there are a couple of us, and I'll read you those names right now because it might surprise you when you find out who is actually in an elder is an elder guard. So let's see here. Let me scroll down to my list. I need to update this, by the way. So I definitely need to send that to Officer Unique or Operations. Let's see here. So Elders Guard. We have myself, Paladin Dog. We have Paladin Tyrant. We have Honorably, who has fulfilled their contract, Proctor Enoch. We have Caesatron, Thorin, Squeeze. This one, we're very proud of this one. This is actually one Elder Guard role that will only be given out, hopefully one time. It's called EG Eternal, which is Elder Guardsman Eternal, and that is held by Immortalis's Kushardi. A lot of people did not know this, but he was in phase 3 of the Elder Guard trial.